Okay, let's find the derivative of this function x times square root of 169 minus x squared. So x is a function and this square root is another function. So here we have product of two functions. In this case we will use the product rule to find the derivative. And here the formula for the product rule. So d dx of f of x times g of x equals to derivative of f of x times g of x plus derivative of g of x times f of x. Okay, we will use this formula. But first of all, always rewrite square roots or any kind of roots as a powers, so that will make us easier to find the derivative. So it will be, so we have to just rewrite this second factor. So we will have d dx of x times 169 minus x squared, and square root will be power 1/2. And now we can start to use product rule. So here we have f of x and this one is g of x. So that will be derivative of f of x. So we need to find with the derivative of f of x, and derivative of x is 1 times g of x. So we just rewrite this expression. So that will be 169 minus x squared to the power of 1/2. Then plus derivative of g of x. Derivative of g of x, here we have outer function and inner function. That's why we will use chain rule here. Okay, so when we find the chain rule, when we use the chain rule, so we will use this formula. So d dx of f of x of g of x equals to derivative of outer function with respect of inner function and times derivative of inner function with respect of x. So let's get started to find the g prime of x, and g prime of x will be, so we need to start with outer function. So outer function is this quantity and power 1/2. So we can use here just power rule. So 1/2 in front of the brackets and subtract 1. We will have 1/2 times 169 minus x squared to the power of minus 1/2, and times derivative of inner function, and inner function is the expression inside these brackets. So we will have, so derivative of 169 is 0 because it's constant number, and derivative of minus x squared will be minus 2x because we are taking 2 in front and subtracting 1, and don't forget this minus sign here also. So this is our f of x, f prime of x. This is g of x, and this chain rule, when we use chain rule, we found g prime of x, and now we have to multiply by f of x, this function. So times f of x, and our f of x is just x. Okay, we finished our derivative, and now we need to just use algebra to simplify it. So as you can see here, in the first term of the expression, we cannot simplify anything, so we just rewrite our function. So 1 times this expression will be the same expression, and we can rewrite this 1/2 as a square root here. Square root of 169 minus x squared. And in second term, as you can see here, we are multiplying minus 2 to this expression and to x. So when we multiply negative number to the positive number, we will have negative. so negative sign, so that will be minus, so plus will be minus. And 2 times 1/2 is 1, so that will be just cancelled. 1/2 and 1 will be cancelled, and we will have just x times x is x squared times this expression. So 169 minus x squared to the power of negative 1/2. And in our answer, our answer must be without negative power, and negative when we write this negative without negative power, this expression goes to the denominator, and then we will have square root of 169 minus x squared minus, and x squared will be in the numerator, over 169 minus x squared, and when we rewrite this expression in our denominator, this power will be positive 1/2, and 1/2 means square root, so we next line we can rewrite that power as a square root. 169 minus x squared minus x squared over square root of 169 minus x squared, and this is the final answer.